Call the meeting to order with a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we have John Callahan, Danielle Juen, Martha Majeski, and myself, Mark Donovan, and our lovely staff. Bob Cooney is not here tonight.
Correct.
Great. Yeah. We did have executive sessions on January 2nd and January 10th to discuss personnel, land acquisition, and what was the other one?
Potential litigation.
Potential litigation. Thank you. Right on to the regular business meeting consent agenda. Acceptance of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors December 13th, 2023 business meeting and January 2nd, 2024 reorg meeting. All departmental, committee, commission, and council reports as posted and received by the Board of Supervisors for the month of December 31st, 2023. I will make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
And I'll pass it to Lori.
I don't have anything on this.
Oh. I have the notes on the wrong one. Sorry about that. Any comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now on to the one we talked about. Treasurer's report and payment of bills. Consideration of acceptance of treasurer's report for period ending December 31st, 2023. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Is this one you want? Great. On to
So,
Lori.
Treasurer's report for month ending December 31st, 2023. We had a general fund balance of just over $4 million. It was down over the prior month, and that is related to end-of-year expenditures and the year-end transfers. We were able to do the year-end transfers in the amount of $500,000 to the Capital Roads Fund and $150,000 to the municipal complex, and that was due to the township having a surplus at the end of the year.
Thanks. Any other discussion, questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of disbursements dated January 10th, 2024. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any comments, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No zoning board applications this month, so right on to old business. I'll make a motion to approve the MOU terms of employment for Chief of Police John Fry. I would condition that upon final approval by Lori and Labor Council. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll also make a motion to approve the MOU terms of employment for Lieutenant William Fitzsimmons, conditioned upon final approval by Lori and Labor Council. I'll make that. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thanks. Any comments, questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. On to new business. Discussion and possible motion on Chester County Consortium proposal for cable franchise renewal with Verizon. Pass it to Lori.
So hard to believe that this is up for renewal again, but we are in the time where Cohen Law, they do basically all of the franchise negotiations for the county. So they are requesting municipalities who are interested in participating to raise their hands, approve their proposal. The proposal gets cheaper the more municipalities that participate. So our agreement will expire next year, so now's the time to start working on it. So it feels like they never end. And this is the money that the township gets paid for from the cable companies it's a percentage of the money that they bring in.
When we renewed Comcast, I made a mention that in that agreement, we're entitled to see the complaints that are do we get those? Have we gotten any kind of registered?
We have to ask for them.
Uh-huh.
We have not asked for them. We can.
I mean, I think that it's something that we're entitled to under the contract. It would be nice to know if our residents are getting good service.
Sure.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
Great. So we need to make a motion on that one if we want to participate.
Correct.
I will make a motion that we accept the Chester County Consortium proposal for cable franchise renewal with Verizon.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider approval of proposal from Point Blank Enterprises in the amount of $10,326 for the purchase of in-car rifle plate carriers for the police department. I will make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Would we like to have a little discussion on this?
So, this, you might remember last year, I believe we talked about it at a public meeting, the police department received a $10,000 donation from, I don't know that it was a resident, just from an individual who.
Resident of the township.
Was it?
In their will.
Okay, yes, bequeathed $10,000 to the township in their will, so, they didn't spend the money last year, they're requesting to spend it this year on this equipment that they got the proposal for. Of course, the $326 will be in excess of that.
Does anybody have any other questions? Seems pretty straightforward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider approval of agreement with Cody Computer Services for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $6,756.30. This is a budgeted item. Cody is computer software for the police department. I'll make the motion to approve that. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consider approval of annual subscription renewal with Power DMS for the period of 2/19/24 to 2/18/25 in the amount of $5,745.09. This is also a budget item. Power DMS is policy and training software used by the police department. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right on to resolutions and ordinances. I'll make a motion for approval of resolution number 2024-07, record destruction. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions?
I'll just comment that this is our annual resolution that we do. The township can destroy certain records in accordance with the Pennsylvania Historic Museum Commission,
Okay, okay.
HMC. Yeah. They have a record retention manual that we're required to follow as a municipality, so we destroy records every year in accordance with that schedule.
So you're just updating the resolution
Yep,
every year with the new dates?
That's correct.
Based on the record retention schedule?
yep.
Okay. So,
Your mic.
oh,
Sorry. So just as I'm reading this, just so I can understand it, I love record retention. I actually do. Zoning hearing board applications through 2020. So basically anything prior to 2020 can be destroyed.
Correct, we're required to
that-
keep them.
Am I interpreting that right?
This is the application, the decision is permanent.
Yes,
The
Okay.
decision goes into your permanent record, and with it, normally,
Bill, your microphone. Sorry.
Drag it closer.
normally with the decision, the exhibits go in as well, particularly if they're identified in the decision, so, but
Okay,
you don't need all the other stuff.
Yeah.
okay.
we're only required to keep the applications for 3 years.
Okay, I'm guessing it's based on some sort of statute of limitations, they presume
Basically.
that,
Yeah.
okay.
Do we have any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion for approval of resolution number 2024-08, Valley Forge Sewer Authority Act 537 Plan Special Study. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I think we're looking to Paul for comment.
So we did discuss this last month. This is talking about the Valley Forge Sewer Authority and the additional capacity that your different township is offering. The reason that we tabled the discussion last month was that the report from Valley Forge was to include the Chester County Planning Commission letter as well as a letter from the Chester County Health Department. To date, we haven't received either letter. We've requested them and we haven't gotten it. So at this point, my recommendation would be to table it so that we're not giving an approval without having the proper letters in hand.
And if we do get the information, and the sewer authority is still on target to submit by the end of the month, we'll just re-advertise so that you can vote on it at the workshop meeting.
Okay.
Do we have to make a motion to table it?
We can
No.
we can let the motion die.
Okay.
Okay, great. On to the next bit with 2-minute reports. I'll start with John. Did you have anything from last month? Great. We had a lot of canceled meetings, so I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Same with Danielle,
Nothing.
Martha,
Nope.
nothing from me. Anything from Township Manager?
No, nothing from me.
Great. Chief of Police, or in this case, Bill? Any updates you need to? Yeah, great, fantastic.
You have the report.
Yep.
Sorry.
Step on
Oh,
up.
you're good, yeah.
You have our monthly report. If there's any questions, I can answer any of those. The other 2 items, we worked really hard with PICO and, well, when we could get them, to get the roads back open. We have a remaining 2 streets. Clothier Springs is still closed, and Paul Lehman at Jog Hollow is closed. But the people on Paul Lehman can get out on the different side going down Welsh Valley Road, so nobody's trapped there. One resident where the one on Clothier Springs is, they can't get in or out of their driveway, but we can't do anything until the power's is fixed, so we're still waiting for that. The last thing, I just want to remind all of you and whoever happens to be watching, last week one of our officers was struck while he was on a car stop. He had stopped a car on Route 23 down there in Valley Forge Park. He approached the operator, spoke to the operator, was walking back to his car, had his hand on the door handle when his car was struck by another car in the rear. If that vehicle that struck him had been 10 to 12 inches to the left, it would have glanced off that car and run the officer over. So we're very fortunate that we didn't have a severely injured or killed police officer as a result of that. I was talking to the fire chief, and I think they might have a crystal ball, because the week before on one of their signboards it was reminding the public to move over for emergency vehicles. So I just want to reiterate how important that is. In this case, there was somewhat of a medical condition that caused this person to do this, so it wasn't negligence as much as that, but still a lot of us were very happy the way it turned out. Would have to be our newest car, unfortunately, but I already got an estimate for that, and we're going to get that underway and get that fixed. So
At least it's a car.
yeah, right, exactly. So we're all very fortunate. And a redacted version of what happened from the body camera is going to be on Facebook for the public and for all of you to see. So if anything else anybody has, I'll entertain it this time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Just
Lieutenant.
thank you for all your hard work with the storm yesterday and all the time that everybody took out. Thank you. And the road crew, everyone. Thank you.
And with the presidential visit, was it?
Oh,
There was a pass-through
Yeah,
Valley
wasn't,
Forge, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
No, I mean, sincerely, I mean, if you had not acted the way you did, we would have, there would have been significant traffic closure. It would have been, really.
Yeah.
there's-
So we're
there's-
pleased with the result.
There's no way around that intersection.
It was a mess, but it could have been worse, and thank you for not making it worse.
Actually let me near him, so there you go.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Let's move on to our township engineer.
Thank you. Just 2 updates. The Paul Lehman Drive, I'm expecting that the next Board of Supervisors meeting will be discussing the final pay application. They have been working towards it, so we'll be moving into the maintenance bond period for the township. And the second item, we had got some good news on Monday, January 8th. We got an email from Elizabeth Mahoney of the DEP regarding the township's revised PRP plan. The DEP has no comment based off of the design that we provided, the alternative design. So we're currently in the process of picking up the survey that we need, and the deadline is still December 31st, 2024. But at least we're starting off January and we have the approval that we need.
And everything went all right with all of the rain on Paul Lehman? No issues?
No, I haven't heard anything.
That's what the wires were down.
Because the wire,
The wires are down.
that's not
Yeah.
Paul's fault.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anything about any drainage issues in the township. Kim, Lori, Valentina usually keep me in the know of situations.
Oh, yeah, they're the first to hear about it.
Yes, typically, water runs downhill to the civil engineer.
It's all your fault.
Yes, I know. Well aware.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Any other discussion on that? Great. So any additional business discussion on agenda items for upcoming workshop meetings? What do we have coming up?
So we have a workshop meeting scheduled for January 25th. And at that meeting, we are planning to discuss projects for the township for the year. Now, I do think this is probably going to bleed into more than one meeting. We do have quite a bit to discuss. We're going to start with talking about the Route 23 sidewalk grant project. But we also would like to discuss, we're going to have our traffic engineer newly appointed in attendance as well, so that we can identify some projects and intersections that we want them to focus on, so we can start planning for seeking grants for that. And then whatever else we have time to discuss that night. We've been talking about ordinance changes that we want to focus on, so the plan for this meeting is really to set goals and prioritize those goals then for 2024.
I do think that that's gonna be a lot, and I'm okay if we also extend it into our February.
Yeah.
We get through, and then
Workshop
we
meeting,
move it on to
yeah.
the next one.
I
so.
think it's inevitable that
We'll
we're gonna have to. And for February, what we have planned is, the Historic Commission is going to make the presentation to the board on their mid-century modern presentation that they did for the public a couple of months ago, so I think that we'll have time.
Didn't we also want to tackle the plastic bag ordinance in February?
That was on the list as well.
For February, or?
Well, we can do that we can push that one to February. That was on the list for the January projects.
As I
But I
mentioned,
don't think we're gonna get to it.
as I mentioned to you, I really want to be at the January, but I may not be able to be at the January workshop meeting.
So I think that we could move, I think
we'll-
we could,
We'll have plenty to talk about.
truthfully, I
otherwise.
think most of the discussion is gonna be taken up by sidewalk. I really think a lot of that is gonna be the focus, and traffic.
We have no flexibility on timing of that meeting because it's advertised, it's been advertised.
It's been advertised, but whatever, I mean, if the board wanted to make a change, we would just have to re-advertise.
No, I don't.
Thinking.
It's my birthday, and my kids want to spend it with me. So I should while
Change
they.
your birthday
I
for a
should.
day.
I should while they still like me and want to spend my birthday with me. So no, I mean those are topics I really want to be there for. So
We're dragging you in. Can never leave.
I mean,
Any other?
if you wanted to talk about a change in time or anything, I mean.
no, I don't want you to have to pay to re-advertise to change it a half an hour.
Well, the only thing I'll say is that we might need to anyway for that resolution. So we might be in a position where we have to re-advertise in order to be able to adopt that. I don't know for sure if that's gonna happen, it's gonna depend on,
7:30?
Well, I was just wondering if we could do,
or earlier.
we could do, I mean, do we need an executive session that?
Do we need an executive session that day? I mean, would
I don't have anything at the moment that I think we'll need to talk about.
I mean,
If things come up, we can always figure it out.
I don't want everyone to reschedule just to accommodate me. I can also miss
If
the,
we need
I can
an
also miss the
executive-
meeting. You'll have quorum.
If we need an executive session, we can always meet afterwards. We used to do that all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
We can announce it before the meeting that we're going to have an executive session after the meeting to discuss
Mhm.
whatever it is we're going to discuss. So we don't have to meet earlier. Is that what you're saying? You want to meet later?
No,
The question is, can we
if we
reschedule-
didn't-
if we
I'm
didn't
trying
have it
to,
scheduled?
I'm trying to push the meeting as early as possible.
Yeah, if
Oh,
we,
earlier, okay.
if we re-advertised the meeting and started the meeting at the time we usually start executive session.
Well, how about this? Do you think you're going to resolve every single issue with the sidewalk project in the January meeting? Okay.
What was that, Paul? Is your microphone on, Paul?
Then I will have an opportunity to discuss it at a later date, and please don't reschedule on my account.
Okay.
All right.
But I will follow up with you. Well, I
We can get
won't be able to, yeah.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Mark was trying to make a record for the shortest
Oh,
meeting
no.
possible, so
That-
that's all hold him back.
no, we're good. But, yeah, any other items for January, February?
No.
All right, cool. Announcements, the office is closed on January 15th for MLK Day. That's it. That's the only announcement. On to public comment. Anything from you guys over in the fire department or anything that you want to
No, you got
share? Fantastic. Any, from our lone audience member aside from the fire department? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.